Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. We're cracking on through this new series of mine where I'm helping you step by step through the ABRSM Music Theory and Practice workbooks. If you go to sharonbill.com, there are some free PDF information sheets. You can get them in US letter or A4 to accompany each step of this series. And also there's a page which links to all of my YouTube video tutorials. You can access the information there, and also you can find out about the books that I have available to you. If you visit sharonbill.com, it's all there, everything that you need to find. If you can give me a like and subscribe, that'd be great, and you can keep updated that way. We're going to crack on now with section B. And so you will need to access the PDF that I've made available to you. And we're going to look at the first part of section B, and that relates to the Theory and Practice workbook, page 5. So if you find your workbook and get that page open, ready to go, and we're going to look at exercises 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now this section here, I'll just write a section letter B on that just so we know which sheet we're referring to. And this section here refers to all the nuts and bolts that make music work on a page. So we're looking at the way that the music is constructed on a piece of music. So if you'll notice on this PDF, I've explained all of the terms that we use to explain a piece of music. So music is divided into bars by bar lines, and the end of a piece of music is shown by a double bar line. And so that will help you to answer this first section here, exercise 1, this first part. So you can see there are bar lines, and there's the end of the piece of music with the double bar lines. And then you can also find out what these numbers here at the beginning of a piece of music are about. If you look to your sheet, you can see that it tells us at the beginning of a piece of music we have a time signature. That's these numbers here. We'll look into that more specifically in a moment. So perhaps just press pause a moment and have a go at answering exercises 1 and 2, just those first two exercises on page 5, and then re-access into the video and I'll go through that with you. Remember, always write in pencil, keep your pencil nice and sharp, and have your eraser ready to hand. So I'm guessing that you've had a little go at that, so we'll work through these together now. You can check your answers against mine. And so these bar lines here are what divide the music together, so we'll just write that to answer that question. And at the end of a piece of music, or a section of music at least, we have these double bar lines, which is pretty obvious because there's 2 of them. So double bar lines, that's that one. And then these numbers here that fall at the start of a piece of music, these are called time signatures, or a time signature in singular. Okay, so that's that bit. Now we're going to have a little look at exercise 3, which deals with time signatures a little bit more specifically. So if you refer back to sheet B, here's the PDF, and you can see that I've written this piece of information here, just itemising each part of a time signature. It's quite important that you're very specific in the way that you answer this question. The top number will tell us how many beats per bar. The bottom number tells us what type of beat. Now if we refer back to sheet A, that will help us to explain this bottom number 4. This bottom number 4 specifically means crotchet beats or quarter notes. And the reason for that is, if you just pop back to sheet A, you can see that a crotchet or a quarter note is the name, and you can see it's because we've divided into quarters now. And so if you just think about your fractions, that bottom number 4 representing quarter notes makes sense. And so now we can be a little bit more specific in actually answering that question. So for example, if 2/4 is our time signature, the top number tells us how many beats per bar. And so that tells us that we've specifically got 2 beats per bar. But this bottom number tells us what type of beat, and this bottom number 4 means we're counting in crotchet beats or quarter notes, quarter beats. And so specifically all together that means 2 crotchet beats per bar. And so if you extend that knowledge a little bit further, if that top number was 3, we'd know that there were 3 beats per bar, and then we were counting in quarters or crotchet beats, so it would be 3 crotchet beats per bar or 3 quarter notes per bar, and so on. And so you can perhaps now have a go at that next question. It's just worth noticing, if you see at the bottom of the page here, there's just one extra little bit of information. 4/4, meaning 4 crotchet beats per bar or 4 quarter notes per bar, can also be represented by this little symbol C here, and it represents common time. It's like a shorthand way of writing that time signature. Not that that's a particularly laborious effort, I know, but there we go, that's common time. Don't worry about making it all nicely pretty and italicized, just do a sort of a capital C with a bit of a blob on the end, and that'll do the job. So everything you need to know is here on this sheet. So press pause, have a little go at answering those questions, and then I'll come back and go through that with you. So I'm presuming that you've had a little go at exercises 3 and 4 now, and we'll work through that together. And so the question for exercise 3 begins, in directions such as 2/4, 3/4 and 4/4, what does the top number tell you? And referring to sheet B, we can explain specifically that the top number tells us how many beats per bar. You don't need to worry about answering it in full sentences unless you particularly want to. You've answered the question, that will suffice. Okay, carrying on. So the bottom number, now if you refer to the information sheet, underlined, it will tell you, the bottom number tells you what type of beat. And so that's that accurately answered. And so adding the combination of those two answers together, we can now answer these questions. What is the full meaning of 2/4? So the top number is 2 beats per bar. This bottom number 4 represents quarter notes or crotchet beats, and so you would say the full meaning of 2/4 is 2 crotchet beats per bar. Alternatively, you might choose to say 2 quarter notes per bar, depending which definition you prefer. That would therefore mean any combination of notes that adds up to the same equivalent as 2 crotchets or 2 quarter notes. And so continuing that line of reasoning further, and what is the full meaning of 3/4? So the full meaning of 3/4 we just changed. The top number is now 3 beats per bar. So the top number is now 3, and then the bottom number tells us it's crotchet beats. So it's 3 crotchet beats per bar, or you would say 3 quarter notes per bar. And that means whatever adds up, any combination of different notes that add up to the same as 3 crotchets or 3 quarter notes per bar. And then when we've got 4/4 as a time signature, instead of writing the numbers, we can choose to be a little bit more artistic and write this common time symbol, and that will suffice. I hope that's been helpful to you. If you've understood that and you're ready to move on, great, we'll move on to the next video. If you found that a little bit tricky, then please just go back, read through the information sheet again and just work through that section again. Just erase what you've done and try again. It's always better to learn by your mistakes. Thanks for watching. If you give me a like, that would be really encouraging to me. Give me a subscription to keep updated with everything that I'm doing. And please do go to sharonbill.com to access all of the information. There's loads of resource there for you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.